Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hello, and welcome to Spookocalypse. My name is Bunyip, and I'm joined with two others. Who might y'all two be?
Chairman?
And housekeeper.
And we don't need Zio for jack shit, because he ain't here.
Except for
Yeah.
starting the fucking recording. Because he hasn't given any of us permissions to do so.
Yeah.
So today we will be having a 2-hour discussion on why Evil Dead Army of Darkness is the best movie in the Evil Dead franchise. Good times.
Imagine. Yeah, right now I'm giving him shit because he started the recording late. I was like, yeah, sure. Of course you're sorry. You're not sorry. Anyway, so today we will be talking about the Babadook. But before we get started on that, let me do housekeeping. If you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Share with your friends. New episodes get uploaded every Saturday, and links are down in the description for other podcasts that are part of the Neonic family. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at Spookocalypse. That's at SPOOKOCALYPSE. We also have a YouTube. If you are from YouTube, hi, hello, welcome. Make sure you drop a like, follow, subscribe, ring that bell. Put down in the comments what movies you would like to hear from us next, on what you think. Now, before we get started, we are going to be doing some spooky shit, and the mints were going to be on the pillow. And what's today's flavor of mint?
Probably coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Because of the sleep deprivation that's apparent in this film.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel that. I feel that in my soul. All right. So, The Babadook is directed by Jennifer Kent. Screenplay is also by Jennifer Kent and is based on the book Monster by Jennifer Kent. It's produced by Christina Caton and Christian Moliere. It is starring Essie Davis, Noah Wiseman, Haley McElhenney, Daniel Henshaw, Barbara West, and Ben Winspear. It was released January 17th, 2014 at the Sundance Festival. And it was released May 22nd, 2014 in Australia. Its budget was $2 million, and it made out of the box office with $10.5 million. Which, I mean, that's a pretty good fucking turnout, if I do say so myself. And it wasn't that high, like 2 million for a movie nowadays, that's not even a high budget.
Yeah.
So, like, they did a lot for the little that they had.
Yep.
All right. So the movie opens up with Amelia, and she's like going through like a dream sequence. It's a sequence that she's probably been reliving and tormented by for several years. 7 to be exact, because that's how long it has been since her husband died in a car accident. In the dream, she falls back on the bed from the car wreck.
Okay, I will try picking up where Housekeeper left off. So there is a car crash, and it's a memory. The car crash that was happening whilst Amelia, our main character, is going into labor. And he's driving her to the hospital, but someone hits them, and he unfortunately dies. But she is able to get to the hospital and give birth to their son, Sam. And it cuts to like 6 years later, and Sam is kind of an erratic kid, active imagination. And I swear he looks like the actor looks like Severus Snape as a kid in the Harry Potter films.
Oh,
It might be the same person.
that's funny. We can find out. Let's see.
So he's really into like magic tricks and play, just general play like kids are into. And tries to interact with his mom a lot, but she's just exhausted due to being a single mom, raising a kid by herself, and she hasn't quite gotten over the loss of her husband. And one of the things that Sam is suffering from is he's an insomniac. Like he's not able to sleep and he's preoccupied with an imaginary monster. And he's built weapons to fight this thing. One of which is it kind of looks like the back of a chair that has been retrofitted with a mechanism that makes it act like a catapult, like a backpack with a mini catapult on it.
Mm-hmm.
He also makes a crossbow.
Little hand crossbows, yeah.
Yeah, like a legit hand crossbow that fires out darts.
Okay. I feel like this is on brand. Single mom.
Yeah, we had just finished talking about how Sam has an active imagination, can't sleep, and he makes weapons. And it's before he is called into the principal's office and his mom has to come pick him up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he does take apparently he has I don't think he has an episode, right? They just notice like they find out that he has a crossbow in his bag with
I think
darts in it.
he did use the crossbow, but I don't think it
Yeah.
was loaded with anything lethal. It was just like
It
for
was
play.
and it had a dart in it. Like a legit fucking like what you play darts with dart.
Okay, so he almost shot somebody, but
Yeah.
but his mom has to come in from her job as a retirement home worker.
Yeah, yeah. So like she gets called to the school and has like a confrontation with like the school administration. They're saying like, "Oh, well he needs to be like monitored all the time." And she's like, "Well, like no, can't you just acknowledge the fact that this is like a unique kid that just needs a little bit of extra help?" And then like his teacher was just like, "Dude, I have like 28 other kids. I can't just, you know, put all my time into Sam, you know." She's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna pull him out." And like they try and like convince her to not, but like she does anyway. And then I think I it's probably the same night. Like
Yeah.
they so she reads a book to him every night, and she told him this night that he could choose any book that's on the shelf, right? And so he asks her to read this pop-up storybook. Um, there's not really an explanation on how exactly this book ended up in the house. The book is red, and it's a hardcover, and it has like thick black pages with like pop-up pictures. Um, the artwork of the book, like it's very creepy. The images are very jagged. Definitely like not something you should be reading before you go to bed, especially to a 7-year-old kid. While Sam does seem kind of calm and curious about the book, before she starts reading it, and like he has a little fun within the first few pages, he starts to get like terrified by the time the story comes to an end.
Mhm.
By reading out the story, she actually summons the Babadook inside of the home. And according to the story, once he's in, there's no way of getting rid of him. And shortly after she reads the book, the tension and sense of dread starts to build more. Strange events start happening throughout the house. Sam is scared of the closet in his room and what's under the bed. Amelia insists that he's just imagining things, that there's no monster, right? And she becomes a little bit more disturbed by her son's behavior, and she rips up the book in a fit of rage and dumps it in a bin outside. And she sets the book on fire. And Sam becomes more violent. They go to his cousin's birthday party. Mind you, earlier on in the movie, this isn't mentioned, but Amelia is talking with her sister, and her sister's basically saying like, hey, Amelia doesn't want to share a party with Sam, because Ruby wants to have a princess party. It just seems the way that she talks to Amelia it seems very passive aggressive, right?
Yeah.
So at this party, um Ruby and Sam is hiding in the treehouse, and Ruby goes up and starts like irritating him and
Mm.
saying shit like he doesn't have a dad, basically bullying him, saying like, oh, you don't have a dad because of who you are, like just being fucking a menace.
Yep.
And Sam pushes her out of the treehouse, and as a result of the fall, Ruby breaks her nose in two places. Um, and I'm all like, know what, deserved. Like,
Them
as
kids.
someone who was bullied, like, fuck that bitch. Like, fuck you. Like, you don't get to say that shit. Deserved, in my opinion. Sam did what was right. Um, Amelia's sister Claire loses like her shit and tells her that she cannot stand to be around Sam. He has a seizure, and Amelia and him leave Claire's place and head back home. And on the way home, Amelia she has hallucinate she sees the Babadook in the car. And I think this is also like whenever like he's fucking screaming and shit in the car. And she's like, why can't you
Yeah.
be normal? He's just like, um,
50% of this kid is screaming on screen.
dude, for real. Like this kid, I hope he got paid good money, I'm not gonna lie, just for fucking screaming the entire time. I love that became a meme, and I love that I didn't realize that it was from the Babadook until I watched it again for this review. Um so she sees the Babadook in the car. Sam has a seizure, and out of desperation, she takes him to the doctor. Um and basically begs for him to prescribe a course of sleeping pills for Sam until an appointment can be fixed with the psychiatrist. For a while, things seem to be okay. It's like an uneasy calmness. Sam sleeps and allows her to sleep thanks to the pills, which help
I
both
think
of them.
that's only like the first night, because the very next day he gets sick, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
She wakes up well rested the next morning. It's like late 11 a.m. Sam isn't in his room. She hears knocking on the door and finds a reassembled and altered Mr. Babadook's storybook on her front step. Alarmed, she takes it inside and reads a new passage about how the monster becomes stronger the more someone denies its existence. She sees new pop-ups that depict a woman killing a dog, strangling a boy to death, cutting her and uh unaliving herself, basically. Terrified, Amelia burns the book. on an outdoor grill. She then gets a phone call where a creepy ass voice taunts her, and she thinks that she's being stalked. She goes to the police to report um, the stalker, and is turned away when she is unable to produce the storybook that they ask. And so the police officer notices the chalk and pencil on Amelia's hands, implying that she is the one who made the book, and she just simply forgot about it. In the police station, she also imagines a black coat and hat hung on the wall in the distance to be the Babadook. The desktop and two in the background kind of like look at her weird. And she runs out of the out of the cop station like terrified. Um, she is now displaying signs of being possessed. She starts hallucinating that there's bugs on her. Her son, rightfully so, was starting to be scared out of her wits. Actually, out of his wits, I'm sorry, and becomes docile now and struggles to bring her to her senses. She has visions of her dead husband and is convinced that the Babadook is real. Sam tries to call a neighbor for help, and is found out by Amelia, who cuts the phone line and threatens him with a knife. In a fit of rage, she kills the dog as it was pictured in the book.
That
And
poor fucking dog.
I know
I
that
mean,
poor
a
dog.
part of the time it is annoying by barking incessantly, but like the look she gives it and how it has the look of fear in its eyes and runs away, it's like, no, don't make it happen, don't make it true. And then just the off-screen strangling.
Yeah, the don't do it, Mabel. Don't do it. She then goes after Sam, who uses his weapons to defend himself, and he stabs Amelia in the leg. After luring her into the cellar, Sam binds her and begs her to fight the monster inside her, and she vomits up like a black tar-like substance. Bloodied and bruised, she hugs Sam, and they think that it's all over. But then Sam is pulled up to Amelia's bedroom and like thrown against the wall. The Babadook then appears, and Amelia like defiantly warns that if it harms her son, she'll kill it. Powerless against her, it collapses and rushes to the cellar. Um, and then in the next scene, it shows Amelia and Sam enjoying his birthday outdoors. She makes him sandwiches. Life seems to be normal. She then gets help from Sam to fill up a large bowl with worms to take it to the cellar where the Babadook now dwells. After placing it there, she goes back up to her son to continue his birthday celebration. Um, it seems that she has tamed the Babadook. But true to the book, it never leaves. And that is the Babadook.
It's kind of a short story, but expanded to 90 minutes.
Yeah, like it is like a very like, hey, like a house gets tormented by some boogeyman and single mom has to fight him off and tames it, and they live their life afterwards. Point blank simple. Any symbolism, Bunya?
Well, it's kind of apparent, but it's a symbolism, it's symbolic of grief.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, Amelia's husband Oscar dies, and she has trouble processing grief over that. But also, it goes through the 5 common stages of grief throughout the entire movie. Like, first, she's denying that the Babadook is even there.
Mm-hmm.
Second, she gets pissed at her son for no reason. I mean, yeah, he gets annoying, but she has like overreactions. Like, if you're so hungry, why don't you eat shit? He runs away. I was like, damn. But then she bargains with him to try and win his favor back. Like, I'll cook you anything, or I'll take you to Wally's. That one restaurant scene where it's barely 20 seconds long, and it's
Yeah.
just them sitting at the restaurant while there's a family on the booth next over, and it's chaotic as hell.
Yeah.
And then there's the depression part, which part of that is sleep deprivation. And because she has these visions of the Babadook in her dreams, she does everything she can to stay awake, but wants to make sure he goes to sleep, which is why he has the pills in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
even though he says it makes him feel sick. And then finally, with being able to accept the Babadook, there's the acceptance part. And now it just lives in the basement with it just lives in the basement. And then there's that line at the very end where she's the only one that goes down there to feed it,
Mm-hmm.
but he isn't allowed down. And he's like, "Will I ever get to see it?" And then she says, "When you get bigger, I'll show him to you."
Ooh.
Because from Sam's point of view, he never got to know his dad. Like he died before he was even born. So it's kind of like he's grieving the fact that he's never had a father. But
Right.
can you really have grief over something you've never had?
Yeah.
Okay, that answers that question.
Yes. Yes, it does.
I guess it's like his grief, like I said, is about like he's never had a father, and then she had a husband, but taken away due to a car accident, and she wasn't able to process it. So it's like they're both experiencing grief, and then they have to reach an understanding.
Right.
But yeah, there isn't a whole lot of variety in symbolism. It's just this is grief, and here are the 5 common stages of it being portrayed.
Yeah, I saw that too. Um, like I could see it from a single mom's point of view as well. Um, and currently going through stages of anxiety and depression now. Like I was like, "Wolf, this movie hits kind of hard for me." So I was like, "Jesus Christ." The Babadook is real. The Babadook is real, and yeah, I believe in him. Um, the only boogeyman that I will believe in. Uh, but yeah, like I can fully understand like how like grief and depression are seen within the Babadook. Mainly because like she has fought it for so long, and I think that at this stage of her life with everything else that was happening, that's whenever it just got so bad that she couldn't fight it anymore, and that's when the stages started hitting for her.
Mhm.
Right. So she had to work through them in a very short amount of time, might I add. Like, I don't know per se long, like, how long this time period was between finding the book and then, like, his birthday, because it could be like next year's birthday, or it could be, oh, like Amelia, not Amelia, what the fuck is his cousin's name? The little girl's name. Like, oh, like we're gonna have her birthday on their birthday, and then you could have it on the weekend. So, like, let's
Yeah.
say like her birthday was on Monday or something like that. So, like, we don't know how long that time period was, but I'm just gonna assume it was a very short time period, seeing as how, you know, like they were able to celebrate his birthday. But there were people there, so it probably was next year. It probably was the next year, whenever the birthday hit. So,
Well, no, it couldn't have been the next year because the guys, the children or protective services or whatever, like their version is, was there for the birthday. Remember? Because they
oh,
said so. It was probably like a week later because they said a week. They would be back in a week to
okay.
talk over options.
Dang, she took care of that in a fucking week, bitch.
I think the grief manifests itself most intensely during the week, but she's kind of been putting up with this for the last 6 years.
Right. But she was able to take care of it within that week, right? She went through those stages very quickly versus, like, for example, what was it, last week? For me, I had such a bad anxiety attack that I got physically sick, and like I threw up at work. And I'm still kind of recovering from that bad anxiety attack. Like I'm still just like, woof. So, and that was on Friday, actually. That was Friday. And like this woman got this shit done in a week. Props to her. She's strong as hell. She's strong, and man, I want your strength, lady. Give me that strength, please. From one single mom to the other, you know?
I have to say that I really enjoyed like the kind of like the parts when she was like it was in the middle of the dark in her room and having kind of like that childlike terror that she had where she was like covering her head with the blanket and it was literally the only thing keeping her from being attacked by the monster or whatever. Like that's such like a like childhood thing that I feel like you can like relate to, like anybody can relate to, because like everyone at some point was probably scared of the dark, and yeah,
And
that was hid under the blanket.
hid
Yeah,
under the blanket is the only way to keep you safe. They
yeah,
won't know you're there if you're underneath the blanket.
exactly.
It's not like it's not like they know what basic human anatomy is. They won't know where your volatile points are, you know? If you're under the blanket, they will be confused.
Yep,
Do you not know that? I do that to this day. What do you mean?
yep. Yeah,
All right.
especially like, oh man, you know what got me were the roaches, like, because I literally can't do roaches, and yeah,
Oh no, I can't either.
yeah,
It rained recently
ah,
here,
yeah,
and you know how like water roaches
oh yeah,
they live underground, and like they like to live around trees, right? And
hmm
we have 3 big trees, 2 in the back and 1 in the front. So my room is a converted not even garage, it was a car park. Like it was like a little carport, right? That they transformed into a garage and then later into a room. So, after the recent rain, like
hmm
me and the boo went outside and we did some recreational activities because we don't do it inside. Um and whenever we came inside, I have like a couple of curtains hanging as a makeshift door for my closet. I saw 3 of them motherfuckers on there. Huge as
mm.
shit. And like one of them like was like flapping its wings like crazy. And I was like "Bleh,"
Yeah, no, yeah,
was like "Bleh," and I was like, ah, kill it with fire. This is their house now. I don't want to be there.
we're moving.
We're moving. I can't stand it. So yeah, no, I perfectly understand. Like I can't stand, and they're just water roaches, right? Like
hmm
they're not like the cockroaches that like infest your home. No, they're just water roaches. They're trying to not drown underneath their freaking house. But
Yeah.
fuck that shit.
Mm-mm. Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. Rating system. What are we gonna do for a rating system?
Hmm. Sleeping pills?
Sleeping pills. All right. I need one. Shit. Uh. All right. So who's first in line? Bunyip.
I'm gonna stick with 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Um, it had more creepy vibes as opposed to really scary vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I do find a couple of things interesting about it, such as how it handles grief, but also how there's like the Babadook is the monster to Amelia, but Amelia is sometimes the monster to her own son.
Right.
And especially how the Babadook is presented, it's mostly in shadow and you don't really see its face that often. And I wish they had stuck with the stop motion. Like, there's only one scene where it shows up and moves in a stop motion manner. I'm like, that's disturbing. Keep doing that.
It's like if they make a Babadook 2, please keep the stop motion. That shit's bomb as fuck.
But what kind of took me out of it is some of the sounds it makes, like that stock pterodactyl sound effect.
Yes.
It's like, are we fighting a dinosaur?
What? What? What
It's
is
a
this?
Velocipaster.
No. did that on purpose.
And Sam is adorable, but he gets annoying at times. And that poor woman just wanted to have herself a little vibe check break, and he busts into the room before she could finish.
Man, I feel that. Dude. Oh God, I feel that in my soul. Look, I feel for this lady, like as again as one freaking single mom to the other. I mean, I don't treat my son like that. Hell no.
She got to the point to where she was like kind of like spying on like another couple doing it in like their parking lot or whatever, like in another car.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'm not that
Yeah,
fucking
she was
crazy.
thirsty. She was thirsty as hell.
Mhm.
Man, it's been 7 years. Give the lady a break, man. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I went 6 years. I went 6 years without a partner, man. I know the struggles. Poor lady. Okay, so as for me, I think I'll also give it a 4. I do agree with Bunyip to where there's not much of a creepy factor. I've watched it once before, so being able to go back and rewatch it, I was able to pay attention to the things that I missed before, you know? So, I really enjoyed it. I did like the stop motion, agreeing with Bunyip again. Um, please give us more of that. That shit was fucking amazing. And you know, I could relate. Not wanting to try and kill my dog or my child, but you know, I can relate to the struggles of being a single parent, battling with depression for losing a partner. I didn't like lose my partner due to death. But you know, losing someone that you thought you had a good relationship with kind of fucks you over too. So I can I have a great appreciation for this. Not only that, but me being a local on Tumblr, and I have been for several years. You know, I gotta support the local gay icon that is the Babadook. Um, thank you Netflix for making him our national icon. We will forever be grateful for that, and I love seeing people cosplay as the Babadook during Pride. It is fucking fantastic, and keep doing it. You know. So I will also give it a 4 if I can freaking thank you. How about you, Mad Chairman?
So, I had never seen this movie until we watched it today. Um, and I did enjoy the parts where she was kind of like in the dark and like kind of the creepiness they were trying to build up. I could see I could see where they were going with it. It wasn't very effective, but it was decent. Um, they were definitely trying. I could see it, the effort. Um, I wasn't a big fan on like the actual physical manifestation of the Babadook. Like whenever you did see it, whenever you like see it in the picture book, like I really loved like the how they kind of portrayed it in the book and with the music and everything and how it kind of came off. Uh, I just didn't get that same feeling whenever they had actually showed up, and I was like, it's not the same thing. No. So yeah, I'm gonna give this 3.5 sleeping pills.
3 sleeping pills.
All right.
Oh,
Yes.
and as for our missing host, the lovely Zio, um, he scored he scored Babadook 4 out of 5 sleeping pills as well. He says that it is one of the first artsy horror films that he had seen, and it was giving him A24 vibes. The Babadook himself is a gay icon and will always be point blank, period. And he feels for the mother in this film raising a kid by herself. He is a child of a single mother, and this film kind of gives you a look into the stresses and struggles of raising a child by yourself, especially under the situation she was in. He loves how the monster represents the battle of stress, depression, grief she was going through, and how at the end it's not something they can get rid of. Just like real life depression, it doesn't really go away, but you do learn to cope with it. And I 100% agree with Zio with that as well. So the average is a whopping 3.875.
Gosh.
Yes. So, I mean, it's a passing score for us. Go check it out. It is on Hulu.
Tubi.
Oh, it is on
I think
Tubi.
it's on both, but yeah.
Is it?
It's on Hulu. It's on Tubi. It's on Pluto. It's on Plex.
Ah.
It's on AMC Plus if you have a subscription. So like, there's multiple different free sites for you to watch the Babadook. It is a great movie, and I feel like we all suggest it.
Yeah.
All right. So that is all for today on Spookocalypse. Make sure you check in with us next time as we talk about something else. That is it for us. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.